Hi, good afternoon. We're back at Rewind on day 2, and I'm here with Marcus from Living in a Box. Welcome to Perth.
Thank you, thank you.
Is this your first time in Scotland?
No, we played Rewind, but I think it was about 2016.
Right. Okay. So it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Good. And
yes.
How are you getting? How's your visit to Perth been so
Amazing,
far?
because it's not rained yet.
It's not rained yet. You
And
should have been here yesterday.
I know. I heard that it was pretty grim. But, I mean,
so we're delighted to have you here. Obviously, I just want to say you guys formed in Sheffield in the 80s, and you had pretty quick success. So tell everyone how that was, how it all came about, and how you managed to deal with that success.
Well, of course, you're not expecting it. No. That's the first thing. You know, you're putting a song together that you think sounds great. And I wrote that song probably about 84, 85. And then we got a record deal, we wrote some more stuff, and then we went to Los Angeles, which was a great place to be sent from Sheffield to LA. I mean, can you imagine? For 3 young lads, that was amazing. And then we were recording it for a year. So from having written it to actually coming out in 87, March 87, was a long time.
Yeah.
We were worried actually that someone else was going to put it out, and someone did try and put it out before we put it out. His name's called Bobby Womack.
That's right, because he did cover it again.
He did, and he had to get injuncted by Chrysalis because he was on MCA, and he was on Tony Blackburn's show, Radio London. And Tony played Living in a Box 3 times back to back. It's never been done before, never been played since. That many times. So that kind of hyped the record up and all the chat around it, and then went into the clubs. Arthur Baker did a mix, club mix, which took off, and it charted really well. Then it went from the clubs into the mainstream charts, top of the pops, and all the rest of it. And then it went sort of 40, 17, 20 something, 17, 5. So, you know, it was very exciting.
It was fantastic success. I mean, I have to be honest, my favourite Living in a Box song is Room in Your Heart.
I think that's a lot of people's favourite.
I was 15 at 99, probably had some relationship going wrong or blossoming, who knows. But it was that kind of show. It was on the Hits 5 album, or cassette, I should say. And I remember listening to it and repeat over and over again. I just loved it. It was a very emotional song. And I know that people don't often talk about the writing, but you've written a huge amount of successful songs, not just for yourselves, but for another Sheffield band, ABC. You've been writing for their Lexicon of Love 2 album. So the writing part of it, because you're a very creative person, you have your own kids' TV Trucks TV show. So just tell me a bit more about that and how your the music and the TV, because you've been nominated for 2 Ivor Novello Awards. You've won multiple awards for your children Kids TV. So tell us how the creative aspect of that fits in with your life and how that's mapped out your path so far.
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, things changed. You know, the disruption that happened in the music industry when digital came along was a reason really to try and divest, instead of just writing pop songs for pop stars, to try and come up with some other way of getting your music across, which I think kids are more used to doing that nowadays with social media, and they're finding different ways of getting their music out there. The trick is to try and get paid for it. That's the problem for young kids nowadays. It's really difficult to try and earn a buck from songwriting, which is a shame because songs come before everything, as we all know. It's the song that matters. Yes, the artist obviously brings their style to it. But I'd known Martin Fry for years socially, and we go on holiday together, and he just said to me, why don't we put some songs together sometime? We kind of, it was over years, I mean, we were talking about 10 years, we just got together occasionally and wrote some songs. And he hadn't got a record deal at the time. We just sort of did it for our own amusement, which is a really nice way to write something. It keeps you honest. You're not doing it for a particular commercial project. And then he phoned me up one day and he goes, I've just been offered a record deal because I dropped a couple of your songs in our live set. The record company heard it and wanted to record it. So now we're going to do a record. So then we did some more, and it wasn't until the record was finished that he said they want to call it Lexicon of Love 2, and I went, oh my God, how do you follow that? I mean, do you know what I mean? That's one of the all-time.
It's a hugely influential
album. They did a really good job, I have to say, and it's a tricky one too. You know, they did it from a marketing point of view, and we were glad that the reviews were good, and by and large, for the most part, went down really, really well.
So did you guys know each other before the bands were formed, or was that just...
Oh, I knew old Martin, but he was before us.
Yeah.
So he was more 84, 85, we were more 87, 80, you know.
It's a long time in music.
It is. It's a career and a half, isn't it? So we got to know each other sort of socially, really more than anything else, and the Heaven 17 guys as well, and the Human League guys as well, knew each other from, well, with the exception of the Human League who stayed up there, but certainly with the Heaven 17 crew, they all moved to London.
Right.
So we all kind of hooked up in the sort of mid-90s, I suppose, once our careers had sort of peaked, and we were still doing a few other things, but not essentially being the artists that we were. And now here we are back again, because it's come, it's come full circle. And I think if you ask any artist if they thought this could be going on now, all these years later, and it's still as big as popular, and the bands are still as amazing as they are. People don't turn up to watch a complete shambles. They turn up because the bands are amazing.
No, they are. I mean, nostalgia sells, and I've always said that, and it's very important, and it does, and I'm glad that it does, because things like that are really important, I think, for us. I'm 50 years old this year, so you guys' music was extremely influential for us. I always find that the 80s is very, very different from other, because about 5 different genres happened in such a short space of time, and that's never happened before. But what that does is it gives longevity to that decade, and I think that it doesn't happen with any other. So the 80s is absolutely core with that. So tell us what. Obviously, tell a little bit more. I want you to indulge us a little bit more about your Kids Truck TV. Because how did that come about?
Well, that was another one of those sort of almost like an organic thing where my wife had been on holiday in the States, or she got family back there, and for some reason, the number one sort of charting video was a video locked off in a building site of a digger going up and down. Believe it or not, it just was huge. We got a 3-year-old boy at the time, and she came back and said, "Hey, JJ had loved that. I mean, he loved, those little toddlers. You can do it anywhere. Still to this day, they'll all come out: a garbage truck, a fire engine, a police car, a digger, a tractor. They love it. And so, really, as a dad, I wanted to try and do my own version of it, but there was no music, there was no voiceover. And so, you know how they say, when you, from an entrepreneurial point of view, if you're putting something in the marketplace, if there's something already there, just put it next to it, put it better. Just do the same thing, but better. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Just do it better. We felt that from my songwriting history, from the filming it slightly better, narrating it and making it more educational. So if parents are going to use it as a babysitting video, which they kind of do, that the kids are going to get something from it. They feel better about them doing it. And it just took off, and we were doing DVDs when it first started.
Well, it's had tens of millions of views on your YouTube, the YouTube channel at Kids Truck TV. If you're at home, a parent watching this, then you should log in and check it out. It's award-winning, and it's very entertaining.
Thank you.
So, we're going to obviously look forward to your set later on. I'm sure we're going to hear all the classics.
I'll play Room Your Heart for you for sure.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
that would be great. It's a very emotive song. There's no doubt about it. We've got Vienna being played by Midge later as well, and these are a couple of songs that were really, really
I'll tell you a story about Midge. I've known Midge for years too, but we did a charity event about 4 or 5 years ago for Kenny Thomas's daughter, and I was MDing the whole thing. So we got a lot of the artists who are on today came to do that show in London, and we're putting all the sounds together. I said, Midge, can you? We need that noise that you make in Vienna. And he said, fine. And he sent it to me, and I went, oh my god, and I've got it now on my computer. I almost should do it as a ringtone, and it's that noise. You know what I mean? That's just,
it is an unmistakable noise.
And there are quite a few of those, aren't there? Those 80s noises.
Absolutely.
With those synths that were making those noises.
Because it was new, and everyone was willing to be very experimental.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how it might.
Down. Think about the big hair rock that was going on in the 70s. Then to the sort of more Kraftwerky split,
Heart of Noise.
That thing.
That was great.
It's a ballad at the end of the day, but what a ballad.
Yeah. So you're doing all 3 rewinds this year.
Yes.
Your LinkedIn page tells you do lots of festivals over the summer months.
Yes.
Not the winter months.
That's it.
So where else can people see you this summer?
Well, we're doing Butlins, which we always do. And I think that's about it. We don't do too many, we just do the best ones.
Well, I'm glad you have graced us with your presence this year, and I can't wait for you, sir. Marcus, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. Cheers.
Thank you.
That's